This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next Star Citizen would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
With the foundational technology now in place, the content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Legacy Zone added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of our 3rd star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
In 2025, we introduced two major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the regen crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Mella of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
When the Nyx system was first discovered, Empire of Earth, the UE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so the
can you guys hear me now?
And tried to mine as much as they could, making a very
Apologies, I might have had the mic might have not been turned on before.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Here we go.
Ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire.
Oh, okay, so can you hear me now? Yeah, okay.
So they
oh, sorry about that, guys. That's really annoying. I've been talking for ages. My bad.
They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
Welcome, if you can hear me now.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nyx today is kind of at an interesting point in its history.
Nope.
Now that the UE
yeah, so anyway, if you I guess you missed my reaction, but oh my god, Nyx is coming in a month. That's crazy. Like,
still see the Empire as being inherently unfair.
We just
still trying to create a free and fair society.
What a time to get into playing this, man. I'm only just going to get through Pyro, exploring Pyro, and then
are they prepared to handle that, or
we're going to have a whole new system.
The UE for help.
All right. Thanks for no, thank you guys. Thank you for helping me figure that out. I had no idea it wasn't working.
The system is you approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the
I am talking. I wasn't just gonna stream the CitizenCon stream through my stream without saying anything. Oh, sorry about that. That's funny.
So the Nyx system is a remote system where people want to go.
We're talking about Nyx.
Free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nyx is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nyx.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect.
Volume stream.
They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nyx safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
Alright, let's see a bit more of Nyx.
Pyrostar is quite a warm star. Stanton star is quite neutral. And the Nyx is a little bit cooler.
Ooh, yeah.
The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy.
This is sick.
So because Nyx is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nyx gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vandal space.
Oh, cool.
It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light.
So are we getting that the different race? Is that coming? Is that Nyx, or is that a different system as well?
More dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it,
yeah, nice one. Yeah,
build it out,
check it out, man. It's
be in more and more danger.
It's interesting to keep up with the progress.
To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of lights.
Very cool.
For the jump points in
Show us the planets.
We'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nyx,
okay,
and one from Stanton to Nyx.
That makes sense.
It should be going from Nyx to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacian Belt is a
Castra is one of the other systems, right, that they talked about?
The middle of the system.
That's coming?
Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already
Is Castra
had.
the one with the
Asteroid
tropical
fields we use
planets?
for planetary rings and
Or is Castra the one with that big base?
Combining them to make something
was the big base in
completely
Nyx?
new that we've just not seen before.
I'm sure they'll get to that.
Full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nyx are a bit more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture.
Ooh, yeah.
That type of stuff.
Imagine the navigation and dogfighting
Always
that could
feel
happen around
way
these
more
asteroids.
interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian Belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Here we go.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian Belt that QV Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
This looks mad.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nyx.
Okay.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx
What a
to
setting.
other systems. But it does
That's
have
really
a CD
cool.
underlayer to it.
Ooh, okay.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location. When you fly towards
It's massive,
you see
right?
this
Like
huge
the scale of
gas
that is
ring around it. It's scattered
crazy big.
small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski's immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
I wonder if it will rotate, if there's like a spin on it as well.
Initially see a very
Oh,
dramatic
sick.
borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid.
Oh, so
You'll
cool.
also see growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I call the
Massive.
spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
This is so cool, man. That's like that's proper Dead Space
all of
type.
the space
I
available
love that.
to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to.
I'd love to. I just want to like, walk around on
We
the
took the whole shot
landing pads
of
and
the
stuff
asteroid.
there.
You will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in Hull C gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a team, you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks. It's
Death
now
Stranding
going
2.
to be fully EVA-able. There will be walkways around the main landing zone
cool.
to walk on using gravity plates. But
I
you
love
can
that.
drift off and kind of go wherever you want.
So they're really leaning into the
You
zero
can
G.
explore fully the whole place, which is
As
great.
Duchess says, yeah, zero G. That's cool.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
But we've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually, and there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death. All of them were. And Anthony Tanaka just had a break.
I like what the lore and the history they build into everything that they make.
And was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
Where is CIG based? Are they based in is the Manchester office their main office?
The top deck, you'll see
Does
the
anyone
top
know?
view and the cargo area as well, so that you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo
Yeah, I'm not
needs.
surprised.
You have ability to
Running Star Citizen on a laptop is a bold
tractor
move.
beam and other gear that you need.
I'm surprised you had 20 FPS
So
to
if
be
you ever die
honest.
in the Nyx system,
I'm surprised it
then
wasn't
one of the
just a
places you might
single
come out
frame
from is
frozen
the
on the
hospital
screen.
in Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically, it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski, anybody traveling through the system. Again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
When you arrive at the HAB's location,
Mm.
you're presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the HAB room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the
Yeah, I hope so.
lower
What do
view
you know what
deck,
the specs of
you
your
go
laptop are going to
through
be?
into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls. There will be kind of more embedded shops.
I get that
And
they're
then
expanding
things
on the
like
lore
Cauteries, which is your
and
armor
stuff,
shop,
which is cool,
and
but
also conscientious objects, which is for weapons.
like
There's also one of my favorite places,
it's
Cafe
just it's
Zone,
another
which is where you can go down into
station,
some of the
right? Like
more
it's
rocky depths
there's
and
hubs,
grab yourself a drink, and you
there's
never know who
shops,
you meet down there.
there's gear. as cargo. Like,
If
it's
you
got
explore
everything
the more
everywhere else
underground
has.
part,
So
there's other routes around.
yeah,
and
it's
side
cool,
passages.
but
There's
it's
another
just
shop
yeah,
that's
it's another
away from that
station.
area
I get it.
called Teachers.
I want to
Teacher
see the
Ship Shop
planet.
is
Show me the
basically where
planets.
you would go if you were looking to.
I don't know that like I want to see the planets, but also you know like part of my enjoyment of Pyro was not knowing anything about it. So
for
maybe
and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers.
we'll keep watching obviously, but yeah.
Another new area as well as the cargo shop that we've added is the refinery deck for Levski.
RTX 4060 in a laptop. That's mad. That's more powerful than my
rest of the NIC system
than my PC. So no, I think you'll be good, to be honest.
Coming releases for NICs is going to be mining related. So
I
it's
think
super
you'll be
important
fine.
that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of its run down.
Wait, they said bringing
people
it
who
back.
live there
Was it?
Love it and are working.
What does that mean? Was it in the game? Was it in Star Citizen before,
This is a
and they
location
took
that
it out?
has a lot of nostalgia.
What do they mean by
for
that?
you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming of style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time.
Oh yeah, I think that laptop would be
kind of
fine, to
bring
be
my own
honest.
content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
Yeah, could someone explain to me the context of that? Like, was this a thing? Was this already in Star Citizen previously, and they're bringing it back? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what they're talking about there.
So we've talked about Levski, we've talked about the Glacian Belt, but you probably
My
asked
PC,
yourself,
I think I'm
what's the
getting
gameplay
about.
activity we're going to be doing?
Well,
so let's find out.
I
Welcome
mean,
to
it's all
Next
over
is
the place, to be
your
honest.
first experience in a new space station, in a new solar system.
In a
It's a
good.
mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore
At
and
its
look
best,
into. There's going to be some twists and turns,
above 100,
of course, some
which is
combat,
nice.
and
At
if
the
you're lucky
lower
enough
end,
to survive,
it can
maybe some good
be
rewards.
it can be
This
down
is
to like
basically a continuation
30
of
sometimes.
kind of our ASD storyline. So
Mainly when I'm going
in
through the clouds, but I
closing
have got
out
them
what we
on
called our
max settings, so
Science Run
I'm
Amok
not surprised.
storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Intersect Defense Solutions.
I'd say maybe an
leading,
average of like 60 to
military
70, which
defense
is
contractor
fine.
in the UAE.
That's fine for me.
The Navy contracts with them a lot.
I
for
mostly play on
doing
console anyway, so
various kind of military
for me
operations that they don't want to
that's
handle
good.
themselves.
I'm
We
not
didn't
like
want players to be working
I'm not someone who
directly
plays at like
for the
300
Navy. The Navy
FPS
just
all the
doesn't
time on
call
other
up random
games, and then I
citizens
come
and
to
ask,
Star Citizen, I'm
"Hey,
like,
if you're
I'm
free, can you
only
fly a
getting
helicopter?" I guess as a player, we
125
need to think about,
FPS.
like, oh, where am I going to be doing
I'm like,
missions that are capital ship
man, my
battles or large
PS5
fleet
sometimes
scale
gets
stuff,
up to
or
60
military
on a good day.
operations? That's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech is in the NIC system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you
Come
come
on,
out of
show us the
Quantum
planets.
and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian Belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now
Okay,
this
here
is
we
an
go.
old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found
Oh
in
no.
Pyro. This architectural
No,
design
that's such a
found its
shame.
way over to the Nix system as the system was being established.
Oh man, when do you think
But
you'll be able
also
to get
see
the
some
new one? Do
additional
you think you'll
design
be able to get
cues
it soon?
that QV planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now, these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
Yeah, fair enough. Are you going to repair it yourself, or are you going to get someone to repair it for you? Oh, hold on, what's going on here?
For the first time in the PU, the Vandal.
Okay. Oh.
So the Vandal are a nomadic, very, very, very violent spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the Nix system. They don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan.
Cool.
Small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
Repair the yeah, charges should be an easy thing to fix, hopefully.
You will be contacted by some
And
civilians.
if it's just
on
swapping
arrival
some
asking you
parts
for
out,
help.
So at this
hopefully
point,
it's
you have a choice.
pretty
You can either
straightforward.
bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launch that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Insect sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why these QV stations have come back online.
Cool.
You dock your ship, you board the station.
Okay,
and
so there
it
seems to
turns
be a
out
somewhat
the inhabitants
linear-
have a real surprise for you.
Okay, wow.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be
Interesting.
easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the
That's
players
sick.
getting a sense of what exactly is going on here, who these new people are.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start doing these
armor.
proper missions at some point.
Unfamiliar
I'm not
weapons,
there yet.
and
I'm not
we
there
want
yet.
you to get a sense that you are.
Yeah, I
in
don't
a
even think I've
new
fired my
place,
gun
in a
yet
New territory,
in the
fighting
game.
a new faction.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersect.
I don't think Nix is just asteroids. That'd be really
Why are
lame.
they attacking?
Otherwise,
Why are the Vandal
they'd
attacking
probably
now?
just add an
At this
asteroid
point,
field
there's more going
into
on here than anyone
Stanton.
thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station.
Maybe they are.
and collect as
Maybe
much
they are
information
the
as you
friends who
possibly
made
can.
along the way. Could be.
Along the way, you're going to get to
I believe it
explore
when I
some
see it.
new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there.
Yeah, I'm excited to
Other
explore
forces
this
that
station.
Vandal have been attacking.
Go through all the
There's
combat.
a
Feels like a
green
proper,
Explore
like a
the
proper
locations
mission.
in
Which
any
is
order you
cool.
want, and try to find out who these people are
mission?
and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll
A
find new
level?
clues, you'll find ways to
In this
solve the
video
puzzle of what's
game?
going on at the space station, and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that
I
you've beat
thought-
them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow. This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat this mission.
Okay, cool.
Find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
Cool. Alright, so we're not even on the planets yet. We've already got some PvE combat in space and boots on the ground too.
I'm excited to bring cool fan dual ship combat to SC.
Yeah, PS4.
PU will now get a
it's actually crazy to think how loud that thing is. I'm so used to my PS5 now being deathly silent.
You get to fight the Vandal swarm and being able
Well,
to
I watched a video the other day. Someone booted their PS4 up compared to the PS5, and I was just like, oh my god, yeah, I forgot how loud this thing was.
Not only pushing hard and adding great
like it was just, it was honestly, yeah, they say it was like a plane about to take off. It was. I remember it being so loud sometimes that I actually had to turn the volume up on whatever I was playing.
Ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
So,
hello everyone.
Yeah, I'm playing Ghost of Yotei right now. I'm about, I want to say, halfway through. Really enjoying it.
The staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own CitizenCon Direct watch party. As the dozens of such events happening at locations around the world, we've gathered today to watch.
Have you played Ghost of Tsushima? I assume you have.
Of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone. Oh, that was really good, everybody. I'm Jared Huckabee, your host for the festivities and for the show today. And let me tell you, it's not a joke. It's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months. And then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nix system. And in case you missed it because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games.
But what about the planets?
The architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show, the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0.
Clearly the rate at which they're adding stuff to Star Citizen now is clearly much faster since the server meshing update. As he says, 2 systems in a year is pretty impressive, to be honest. It's a good sign, really. We're especially interested when there's already 2 more slated, and I know that worried a lot of people before, being like, well, they only just about got Pyro out, so how are you going to get 3 more in? They've already got 1 more in a year, so at this rate, what, 1 every year? It's pretty decent.
During our pre-show countdown. The offerings were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today. All right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say. Do either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing. When Nyx arrives next month, it'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nyx operation we just discussed.
I've watched summaries of the old CitizenCons, but I've never watched the whole things in full.
That will not only set Nyx apart and give it a unique identity from its
But they were in person previously, right? Or like they're normally in person?
apart from other video games altogether. Now, at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're going to want to crank your speakers.
Is there a
up
reason
for
why
some
this
brand new
one
music
wasn't
from
in
the maestro
person?
Pedro
Or like,
himself.
what was the
And
reason
let's
this
take
one
a look
is
at some of what
digitally?
the next year has to offer for the Nyx system.
Okay. Oh, so maybe they're starting with what they showed us just there with the asteroids, and maybe they're adding the planets throughout the year, I think.
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe art inspires the best technology. And through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art.
2 years, right?
When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world. And not just in the building of the new planets for the Nyx system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never
Last year was
felt
48
right.
hours of CitizenCon,
Our
this
worlds
year is
were
2 hours.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
But to us, they
Yeah, I remember
still
seeing
sometimes
lots
felt
of like 45 minute to 1 hour
this was a
segments
super
uploaded to
hard
their
problem,
channel.
which we needed to solve at the scale
And then this
of
one was
Star
2 hours.
Citizen
I was like,
requires.
I thought this was
We
the
challenged
opening 2
ourselves
hours or something, and there'd be
emulate
more. But
nature
it's just
in the most
it.
believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
I guess if they're more concise about it. Okay, so they just they're reworking Stanton and Pyro.
With Genesis, we've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things. Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found. So
Holy
when
shit.
you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules.
Yeah, that is a shame.
Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few. This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it. Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion.
Yeah, it's unclear if this is a new planet or
These new tools
these are
still
reworked
give us the ability to
planets.
direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA. With Genesis, we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as we focus on the quality, and it provides the quantity. Genesis
these
provides
swamps.
our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a
Elevators are
corner of the
pretty
universe
fine now.
that
I've not had
fall in
any
love
issues with them
and where you want to settle down,
since I've been playing.
build your home.
Build our home, base
Now
building.
I'm going to hand you over to Will to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development.
Yeah, Genesis
and
is
hone
cool,
in
man.
On the final look for Nyx.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on Planet Tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx.
Go on, here we go.
So
this is the good stuff. Show me the
Nyx
planets.
3 is a gas
No,
giant,
not
and
concept
I
art.
think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know. Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system.
Nice. Yeah, show us a real planet. I don't want no concept art. Show me the real thing.
Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and
Oh
grasslands.
wow. Okay, so I think
And
what they were showing
damp
us earlier is
expansive
this
wetlands to claustrophobic festering swamps.
planet. Stunning. And swamps. Wow.
These core biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology. In some cases, because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them. So, let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit. The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously, we had different data that drove the orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we'd place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we author much more of the data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet, and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete
Current
image
season?
and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the
this one
surface
planet's got
and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a
loads of
whole new
biomes.
light.
Big mountains. I love mountains, man. Give me a game of mountains. I'm in. Locked in.
When
That's
we
it.
approached
Sold.
the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock.
Wow.
One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this,
Yeah,
we've
multi-biome
added a
planets
new
would be
layer of
cool
data.
in No Man's Sky.
That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock
I'm looking
size
forward
values.
to Light No Fire. Just
And this gives us a whole
walking
new
from one
level of
biome to
terrain
another.
detail,
It's cool.
of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs.
Yay!
We are adding large scale,
Cliffs.
very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting
Yeah, the Voyager's
new
update is
dimension to
amazing.
steep slopes that
Would
we
highly
simply
recommend
couldn't
getting
get
back
before.
into it and giving it a go. It's so good. To me, it's the best
Second,
update
it's a
they've ever
big
done.
one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell. Using physical data generated for each large and medium tile, now rock distribution makes sense and has
Nice.
a physical basis. So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you.
Yeah, cliffs are really hard to do in game. Well, procedural cliffs like this are really hard.
We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
That's what I've said about No Man's Sky, like, compared to like No Fire. I hope the scale of mountains feels better and they're not just sort of big slopes, you know? It's that verticality that really sells a mountain.
Forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass
This is-
species,
oh
rock
my God.
formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations like mountain valleys,
Yeah, nice.
plains, and dense meadows. And when we start to add a bit of fresh water, they begin transitioning into more wetland type biomes.
I'm loving this swampy vibe. The
And while forests are super cool,
density of the grass.
grasslands and wetlands today.
That's some thick grass right there.
So, how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass.
Yeah, this looks like pre-rendered almost in terms of the quantity of grass on the screen.
Vast quantities of assets across all biomes,
Mhm.
whether it be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands.
Wow.
We are also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath. Now we
Old
can
Star
finely
Citizen
cover
graphics.
complex terrain shapes with
Yeah,
grass
I've
and ground cover
seen
assets.
some
As a
clips
result,
from
they are now
2014.
gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as you'd expect.
I know, yeah,
not
it's come a
sticking out
long
like
way.
before. Next, let's take a look at how we light our grass. Now, as in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass far more
Subsurface
like
scattering.
fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem. One of our biggest achievements with Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are
Get me
almost
to this
infinite
planet.
perspectives from which
I'm
you
not.
can see a location. in
Take your
Star
time with the other one,
Citizen.
man.
So,
I'll
how
be
can
on
we
this
afford
one.
to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet.
I think this is going to be a lot of
Enter the
people's
virtual
favorite planet.
Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales. This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance.
Each atom is simulated
When creating
using
the
every
VT for each part
spare
the
bit of
terrain,
RAM
we
you've got.
assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes,
I can't believe this is the same planet. That's the thing
those
that's
muggy wetlands,
throwing me off.
or even our festering swamps.
Because imagine this, but
So,
more
yeah,
systems
we
coming with
didn't
more
forget about the
biomes split
swamps,
between them.
and they're coming to next one as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technology we've
50
developed,
gigabytes
these
per blade
swamps
of
now
grass, yeah.
bring into existence from the planetary data
Each
file
blade of
combines
grass
all
adds
of the
1
elements from the other
FPS to your
biomes we've shown you
to your
today.
rendering time.
Water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique.
God, it looks, yeah. What's that in the distance? Hold up. Oh, I can see. What is this? You see that? What are you? I'm sure that was a little Easter egg.
Anyway,
I'm sure they did that on
that's
purpose.
our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right
100
now
systems.
to sculpt the identity of
Yeah,
Planet.
nah.
And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
I mean, maybe in like a few decades, well, not decades, a few centuries they could do that.
Is
But
now inspiring everyone here to
I'd take like, I mean, they're already on
the
2.
quality
They've got
and
5
believability we've always
planned.
strived for.
Yeah, 5 for
And meeting with
1.0.
technology and
I mean,
art
like
that I
10
truly
overall
believe
would be
will set
cool.
our worlds apart from anything we've done before.
Oh yeah, just one whenever.
with
But I
that
think
said,
5 for
let's move
launch
on
is
to a
great. I
little
mean,
travel
people have been
between
in
systems,
Stanton for
literally.
10 years anyway, right? Like,
Up until now, our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our 3rd star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about today? System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
No one said Holly was gone. He doesn't even play the game.
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nix, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships.
oh wow, really? Okay.
And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station.
Oh, only
Pyro,
2018. Okay, fair
and go
enough.
through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the Elios.
Yeah, Stanton. I mean, obviously, I think as
the jump point,
time goes on,
through
Stanton
these
will
missions
age.
will
But I think they
require you
did
to.
mention that they're gonna retro
And no way
actively
limited. You can do them
update
in
Stanton
any
with this
sort
new
of-
tech.
if you
So I
want
wonder
any
what that
size
looks
of
like. I
ship,
wonder
I'll
if
be doing
that's
them in my Drake cutter.
total overhauls
Stanton and
or if it's relatively it's just visual stuff, or if they're gonna be like.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake cutter is really cute, so.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far.
Yeah, getting
with the
those,
logistical
getting like
network
a.
and making sure they make sense
Is
within
it a
the
cat?
themes
Is it called the
of the systems.
caterpillar? I want to
Just as
say.
much love has gone
Like, would you
into
have to
the
get one of
interstellar
those
missions
through the warp gate? Like go through the wormhole and get it through? Do you have to pilot that through with all your cargo on it?
After 4.4 launches next month, and why we want to keep as much of what we're doing
That'd
behind
be
closed
stress.
doors, so you can discover it for yourself, in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rock Cracker.
Call it what? Rock crack.
Okay, so Rock Cracker, Jared, is our internal name.
Rock Cracker is
Oh, Rock Cracker.
where you have to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
So way out into the Keegar Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations. These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large
Oh, so-
asteroids and
Okay,
mining
literally
them
is what
down.
it says in the tin.
But since they've
Literally
been
cracking
mothballed,
rocks.
been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping the switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be like
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine
calling attention to these long forgotten
calling a
places.
caterpillar between systems with all your stuff on and trying to yeah, that would stress me out too much. I barely got my Aurora through when I didn't have anything to lose.
To get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options.
That's cool.
Whether you're
I like that.
discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance.
Ooh. Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to do
Now,
with
as
people.
you're traversing
Find
through
your
the
way in.
facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility.
Oh, do they?
Maybe
Is it where
eventually
large ships get
bringing the laser
larger
back online
wormholes to go through?
and
Is
cracking
that what you're
some
saying?
rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is FPS combat. You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
I think the one planet they showed us, Nyx 1, is the planet they have ready, or that'll be the first planet they add, and I think the other two planets that they've revealed are just in concept right now and they'll come next year. I think that's what they meant
So
by
you've
what they said.
found these old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to
Okay.
various functions of the facility. You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
Wow, that's a pretty in-depth gameplay loop, to be honest.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
I'm really excited about Rockracker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
Yeah, that's cool. That, to me, that sounds like a pretty good mix of gameplay, to be honest.
It will be very new experience compared to any other asteroids, because this one, kind of like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
Farewell, you have
Presumes you
pirate
can make
racing at
this
the
thing on
exit.
Scratch. Asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
It's for people who want a lot of minerals. When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics and features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
Minerals. Have you got the minerals?
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and
Alright.
their struggles. There'll be events that invest you
Okay.
into the evolving storyline of all three systems.
Pretty
we'll have in the
decent.
game.
Pretty
And
decent.
of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro.
Do you think we're going to hear any more on stuff they
the
talked about last year, like base building?
Shall I say ganking?
You already did.
Good job, everyone. So yeah, a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion to the mission system that'll let us connect these 3-star systems like never before. What else we got? Rockracker. Rockracker is just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year, where you're gonna fly into an asteroid and do that thing that miners love more than anything else. Complain about PvPers getting in their way. No, I'm being told it's mining. It's mining. And of course, one of the most anticipated features coming to Star Citizen, Genesis, and what that means for the planets of Star Citizen, including the ones already in there. So let's talk to Will Hain and find out more. And I'm just remembering that Will Hain is in France at the watch party. Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton and get back to me, all right? And see if we can get some fjords. What else we got? The CitizenCon Digital Goodies Packs.
Wait, so are we not gonna hear about that?
Sale a couple weeks ago and has a whole bunch of mysterious items in it, and that's where I can tell you now that
I kind of want to know how they're going to use Genesis to retroactively update all of the planets in Stanton.
There's a gunship flight suit and helmet.
You're
Two
not gonna
armor
talk
sets
about
from
that?
that mysterious faction causing a ruckus with the Van Duel, and an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes, some slick Levski swag, and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited addition of the Van Duel to Star Citizen, a cool Van Duel knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish forever. So yeah, it's a pretty solid haul for this year's Digital Goodies Pack, which you can still pick up right now on the RSI store. So now, let's go ahead and transition into our next segment. Much of what you see in the show today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in... What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this one.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so against everyone's better judgment, the thing is finally happening.
Sorry.
Can I help you?
Didn't mean to leave that up on screen, my bad.
How do you think the show's going? Good. We're getting the Nick Star system and the Van Duel are coming. Kind of been a lot of Nicks, right? Well,
Yeah, it's been a
but
lot.
it's a
Are you
major
good?
milestone and it deserves a major showcase celebrating everybody's hard work. And
You got more, right?
well, yeah, there's spaceships coming out.
Cool.
Wow, it's like they only scanned the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning in PCAP does.
Well, this has been super cringe. So I'm gonna head out.
Bye.
Oh, regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that.
Of course. Thank you. Part of
Oh
me that
man,
isn't,
he was saying what the fans are thinking, right?
All right. No. Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
Hi, my name's John Crew. I'm the Vehicle Director here at CIG, and welcome to Talking Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the persistent universe.
3 new ships. Talking ship.
The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done.
What was going on
in a
with
12-month
Ryan?
period.
What was
We've
the
covered all the way from tiny little snubs all the
what
way
were
up
you
to capital
expecting
ships.
to hear about
We've
that?
kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
We had the Polaris come out, and obviously people have enjoyed playing with that. We snuck the Idris in without none of you expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year? Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's the obvious one. I'm trying to think of something else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioned the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favourite.
The Wolf, obviously, a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the
Sick.
game.
That's
the
cool.
Wolf was, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer. We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well
Capital Miners ship.
Such a small package.
Mentioned like 10 years
really
ago. Okay.
Shows off that Drake aesthetic.
Maybe.
Really the absolute bare minimum needed to
I mean, they said 3. They're going to talk about 3 ships,
really
so
like
maybe
the Zeus.
could be one of them.
I think it came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favourite, to be honest, because we've released, a lot of really cool ships.
Next year, we've got some super exciting ships coming up. We're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're going to see, again, maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth of ships, I should say.
You're going to tell
The
us?
3
or
new
no?
ships we're going to introduce today
Okay.
all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting over the Nyx system. We'll start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace. Anvil is a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and lore. often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace, designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to stay in a sustained
okay, fair
while
enough.
dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game. They're true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to
Jesus, this thing
control
has
in game without
quite
being
the
too powerful.
arsenal on it.
It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor, lots of guns, big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull. Obviously a very menacing silhouette.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's coming towards you even when it's just sat still, and I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If you notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick space between where the glass is and the hull exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can come out and give you a little bit more cover.
Oh, that's cool.
The target head on.
It's got
That's
these really
so
nice
cool.
kind of dual-connected wings with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the two remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret.
No
of the ship,
way.
which is controlled by the co-pilot.
Oh my
you've
god,
got
that was
full
cool.
360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage on top with it, and then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have, between the turrets, pretty much 360 coverage in all directions.
Yeah, fighting that thing when you've got a full crew on board is
One of
that's
the
gonna be rough.
unique things about the Paladin is all the turrets are remote and all the crew are located in this one central two-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot,
Nice.
co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
I hope people on Reddit won't get upset. I
I
mean,
think that really helps with the feeling that you're
okay.
all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability
and I
to
hope
fully
someone
crew a
gives
Paladin,
me
you can
10
still
million
fly it
pounds.
and engage in combat solo.
I think that's a
Obviously
long
not as good
shot
as if you have a
right
full
there.
crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's pretty capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions.
Okay, so you can run it
say
solo if
other
you
heavy
need.
fighters like the
Cool.
Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do. Coming aboard the Paladin, you enter into this sort of armory ready room area.
Every time
You
new
have a
same
variety of
class
seat
ship
lockers and
comes
weapon
out
racks
with better
in this
features
room.
in there as it
Everything's
is
very
new.
militaristic,
Oh, I see.
stripped
Okay.
back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in that.
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components are. Also within the upper traversal area, you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding.
Nah,
extra
that
other
turret
detail and trying
animation
to
from
kind of push
the
things forward.
top
I think it hits
to
the
the
nail
back
in
and then
terms of
underneath
a
is so
really
cool.
solid
It's
military
so
ship.
cool.
It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup. So something
I
like
love the shape
Valkyrie,
of
we've
it.
got this big drop ship. You know, the Paladin's there just to make sure it's safe, make sure no one messes with you, and just basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4. and they all kind of work and operate under the same conditions. You know, the pilot, co-pilot, and the 2 gunners, they're basically all equal on the ship. There's 1 toilet, everyone's got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you call that, you like that there's 1 toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. The
toilet seat never gets cold.
Toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst originally a military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia. Hesperia are a high-end manufacturer. They specialise in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
The Stinger.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7-foot-tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens. that
Yeah,
you
I do want to
sometimes
get
hear
one of
about and
the
haven't seen much
Hesperia.
of yet.
What's the one
They
that
also
kind of
make really
looks
cool
like a...
spaceships.
It's like, I don't know
Stinger
how to
is a
describe it.
Vandal heavy
Kind
fighter
of
that's
arched,
reserved for
like it's
their
got the 2 sort of
higher
arched
tier
bits on the
sort of ace
side.
pilots or high-ranking members within
Dropship
their
kind of
clans.
looking thing. That looks sick. Kind of want to get one of those,
The
to be
Stinger
honest,
is
if
a
I have the
competitor
money
to
for
something
it.
like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's there for players who don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there brawling with big guns and taking all the hits. One thing Hesperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the
Yeah, the
single-size
Prowler,
firearm,
that's the one.
Which was
Yeah,
too
the
well
Prowler
integrated
dropship.
into the whole, even for
I
Spirit
love
to
that a
remove.
lot.
All the
I remember
additional
seeing,
weapons are
when I was
generic
working
amounts,
on
so they
my
can be swapped
sci-fi
with
film, I
any of
remember
the
seeing
existing lineup
concept
that we had
art
in the game.
for
By
that
doing
ship
this provides
and
great
being
flexibility
inspired
to
by
the
it, and I
end
didn't actually
user,
realise it
and
was a
this is
ship
something Hesperia
from
wanted for the
Star
civilian
Citizen
market. For
until
that
I
one
started
bespoke
playing,
weapon, the
and I
size
was like,
5 plasma
oh, it's
cannon,
that!
Functionally,
That
it is the same
was a
as
full
the
circle
existing
moment.
size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling, but underneath it is the same weapon that people have used for years.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take, you know, this really well-established art style and, you know, add extra details where needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure that kind of webs all of the ship together. You know, it connects the thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship together.
You can tell it's very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot
Yeah, this is cool. I'm not super excited about this, but
Boarding the Stinger is a little unusual compared to
cool.
Other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
Exploration, you like the Corsair, nice firepower, nice cargo holder for others. Yeah,
There's,
I'll have to look into that one now.
Lots
I
of
think.
organic detail, rib cages, kind of strange alien forms.
On entry of the cockpit, the seat kind of comes down towards you and you kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically riding into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're
Why
being,
does
like,
that?
carried
Why does that look
inside
really
the cockpit.
silly?
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
I'm very happy with the Stinger. I think the team have done a really good job of making something that feels different, it feels alien, but it suits our lineup of ships and it suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job of respecting the, you know, the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships and Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material, but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Van Duel and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
Okay,
So
here we go.
Gray
Final
Chowdhury
ship.
got his start as he was working at a cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people couldn't, items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, happy customers. Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who would appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
So the Shiv, well, we don't really know what it is, to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
At first glance at the exterior of the
I like
ship,
this. I like
think
the kind of...
Most people will probably recognise there is more than a fair proportion of a cutlass visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Even the bits that are obviously a cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside, where again, it sort of feels cutlass-like, but then you'll find there's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was there originally.
It has lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity, but what it's gained...
People are
is
going to
it's
upgrade their
gained
cutlasses,
visually more powerful thrusters. It's gained a really kind of nice set of belly thrusters. It's up.
I like the sort of Star
As ever
Wars
with
look to this
the
ship,
refined
like they're
work
really
from, Gray's
bolted
Market, You could see
together,
that great care was taken to
rough
the
and
health and
ready.
safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
Look.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet.
Yay, toilet.
Bucket.
Yeah, it's one for
They're
doing
obsessed with
something,
the
you need
toilets
a second
here.
one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think
Use
is
the
quite an
camera on
achievement.
yourself.
Just look at this thing. How do you even begin to describe the madness that created this? It's the Shiv.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just nothing. Just
No comment.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, there are just many ways to find these things that, are they legitimate, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, money's money.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it.
Don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the Shiv is for someone
love
that's
this.
looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
It's a fun ship, but it's also really strong, to be honest, and it's absolutely a statement.
Yeah, not the sexiest ship, but I love that about it,
I'm happy with the 3 ship offerings. They are obviously very combat heavy.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement, and they're all cool.
Yeah, they're
As
very,
always,
very different
super
ships.
excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see.
When are we going to get
the,
those? Are they
the
going to be
quirks and
soon?
the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's Talking Ship for another year. So,
Yeah, you can do the thing with Lexi. Talking weapons.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year. So we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
New weapons, okay.
I'm talking about the new edition that come out in October. The non-weapons are essentially the weapons that does not have a manufacturer, the weapons that you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on some weapons that come from
In the past, they would announce
unknown
concept ships.
origins.
Now they talk
He
about
would sell
ships that are close to
things
us.
that
Yeah,
no
I noticed that
company
like
in their
when I was
right
first getting
mind
into
would
Star
ever make.
Citizen, and I'd go on the
These are
website,
the
and it was
most
just
kind of, like,
concept ships
scrappy
everywhere, and I
and
was
taped
like,
together and the most
cool,
kind of, like, pyro-ish
but
weapons
what's
that you
the
can think of.
deal
Right
with
now,
that?
we're releasing
You know?
3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG,
But yeah, it
and
seems.
the
I mean, it seems like they're doing that
automated
with the
space
the game in
entry.
general, right? They're talking less about
I think
things that
this
they
is the
want to
one
do in
that,
like
not
50
only is the
years
most
and
in
more about
demand,
stuff
but
that's
I've been,
coming
politely
much
badgered
more
about the
immediately.
most. It's a fun rifle
But I guess
that
that's just down to
basically
the game
fires
being
energy
more
and
ready,
ballistic
and they're
in
able
sequence.
to
So your first
process
shot
and
will
create
be
stuff
your ballistic,
quicker,
your
and
second shot will be
I think their
ballistic.
workflow's
You'll
obviously
see on the
improved
top
a
of the
lot.
art, there is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic. The LMG, this thing is a really fun, slow firing, hard hitting beast.
It will bring the 50 cal, and the only other weapons that have this right now in the verse are the Bearing sniper rifle and the Coda.
Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Are you even trying anymore?
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow firing rifle. Give me a scrap together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
Yeah, fair
They don't
enough.
have a
That looks
rocket launcher
tanky.
of
I love the
this
look of that.
caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together.
Oh, wow.
That you pull
Donk.
into the tube and fire towards your enemies.
Dum,
The
dum,
cool
dum,
part
dum, dum.
about it will have an arming distance, so you will not be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus, because you've got the tube on your shoulder, and you try to aim it, you'd have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aim apparatus for this. And then we realized, like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm going to hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this in the verse.
Oh, okay.
and
Binoculars.
I think it will be really convenient to use something that's dedicated to look for the things, especially far away.
Yeah, I
instead
did
of
actually
using
wonder
your
that when I
sniper
got back
scope,
into
for
it recently. Was like,
Binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not.
can you have
because
binoculars? I was trying to find out if
binoculars
you
are not
could get binoculars or
something
equip them or
that you
whatever.
need to
But
be aware of.
yeah,
It's
seems
really
like
funny
it's something
'cause
that's coming
obviously,
soon.
due to Glintgate, as you know, I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from distances. And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand, and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming that allow you to spot people from distances.
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
Depends on how you throw them.
Ship night
Thanks,
vision.
Alexei
Yeah,
and
that'd be
Zach.
cool.
That's
Night vision would
the
be
end of
very
this
cool.
segment for this year, so that's talking ship and weapons, unless anyone else is going to come and tell me something else. It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
Nice.
Well, well, well. That is an eclectic bunch of combat ships for the verse, and they're all available right now up on the RobertSpaceIndustries.com store. Also, any minute now, there's going to be a PTU drop that includes all three. So you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I shill? Oh, there's merch. We've got these cool new Levski desk mat things. These are always popular. There's some Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelow's Emporium t-shirt.
Yeah, it seems like the Orion did not unfortunately make it and won't be here this year. I'm very sorry, Funny Sword. I'm sorry for your loss. Maybe there's still hope. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
New partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport and more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well. And what else can I shill? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin. All right, what else can I shill? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Excuse me. Hi, how you doing? That was my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office.
Okay.
This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants, if the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got Duster's armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool. And then when you come over here, got a nice little recreation area. There's some sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff. We got this cool Krigeri Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. It's very cool. I'm gonna go over here. Can you see me?
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Hi, Mom. All right. So yeah, and what are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got cool Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goodies, coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016 where everybody took to Reddit and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm gonna come over here. Do devs deserve coffee? Welcome to the Stargarita machine. Yeah. Do devs deserve frozen deliciousness? I don't know. Go to Reddit and let us know. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Competition winners. We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on the screen? Yeah, competition winners. Remember the competition for the CitizenCon
1 kilometer long Bengal capital ship. Is that in the game at all? Can you do that, or is that a Squadron 42
we actually
thing?
have the names. They're behind me. Look.
Or is that in the PTU?
All right, that's cool.
I don't think they'll add the
food
Milky
here?
Way.
Somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got. Oh, you guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see. There's like 3 different kinds of pizza here. What if we just combine them into like a challenger situation here?
What am I watching?
That's a CitizenCon throwback if you're not familiar with. So I have now crafted my own pizza experience. And that is a terrible segue into our next segment. Gemma, can we, Gemma, are you there?
Yes, Jared.
Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera?
We sure can. Roll, BT.
Star Citizen at its heart will always be an enormous sandbox experience where you can set out to tackle the universe.
Oh, sorry,
in
that's not
whatever
what I meant.
ways
Yeah.
you want.
Well, where
doesn't
is
mean
Star
you can't shape
Citizen
parts of
set?
the
Is that
universe
set? Is
here
that
and there to
also
better
set
suit
in the Milky Way,
needs.
or is that set
That
in
goes for
a
both you
different
and us.
galaxy?
Let's start this part of the show.
Or is Star
with a look
Citizen
at how
also set in
crafting
the Milky Way?
It's going to change everything from resource gathering, refining, and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
First version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials that have different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft, weapons.
Oh,
and
that
armor.
is what was that outfit? That looked cool.
For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships, we have gear, we have things that you create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve, and those items, those ships, those vehicles, the armor and weapons, that's how you progress.
Hey, those are the 3 ships I've had.
Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items. It's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources
it is set in
the
the Milky
game.
Way.
The materials that you collect, how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the material. Some will have a higher chance of higher quality. And once you take those materials to your crafting bench, the fabricator, you can use them to craft, and the different attributes will be increased based on the quality of the materials you use. It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can see what you have, you can order it better, you can understand what you have in your inventory.
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CitizenCon, with the UI letting you assign your quality resources to different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll get queued up, and your results will be produced sometime later. You'll be able to get the new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring it up on your freight elevator and use it in your personal hangar, or tractor beam it around and stick it on a ship if you want to use it from there.
Cool.
There'll be a small amount of blueprints you get credited to your account just to test and mess around, but the vast majority of them will be earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
Warehouse.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release. We're happy with this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable for us as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in, because then we can make the changes that, you know, they only become obvious, so to speak, when you have kind of mass amounts of data and mass amounts of users using it. So I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
Catch you later, man. Have a good night. Thanks so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Take care. Have a good sleep.
So that's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the
Alright.
Star Citizen universe. But what about us?
Base building.
Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual or small group play?
Base
Well,
building.
that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more.
We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026.
Okay.
Why are we doing it, and how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP.
Destiny says
I'm
it,
a
yeah.
PvP guy.
Basically.
PvP me, bro. But like most MMOs, a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable
100%,
amount of groups. So the
100%.
difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other. It's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So
They also
that said,
mentioned some big
how
ship
will it work?
battles.
Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangars, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join in open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangars currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
Crusader.
Siege of Arzen was an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario where the player had to run through and progress through contested islands of Arzen.
That's
This
cool.
was a high-paced, high-intensity event, but it struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing, it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it and make it better for you and a small group to work through that activity.
It is an event that I had the honor of pretty much solely designing and building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill
The Nine Tails. I'm just playing. I'm playing Ghost of Yote right now.
Organization and take back
The
control.
one of the enemy factions there is called the Nine Tails. That really
in our
threw me
current
off for a
thinking,
second.
Siege of Orison is designed for about 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in. You'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire. Some of you might sit at the back and be the sniper and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier. Some of you will be the medic who sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of them. And some of you will be the people who push for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people, but when we released it, we fixed the problem with 2 DGSs on one server that was fighting for resources. And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So when it first debuted, it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition back into the PU.
So imagine if Siege was a instance that you could go in and play solo. or if it was a public event that you could go with your friends or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make
Do you guys think this will ever make it to console? Like PS, like next gen, PS6
I'm
maybe?
excited to say the least to bring back Siege of Orison to Star Citizen and to sort of have it be one of the first tests that we have for instancing and really get it
When
back
it's
to
when
sort
it's in
of
its
a core experience
full
point
state.
where it should be. So while the next season is quite heavily focused on Nyx, I'm also very happy that we're not really
Yeah,
ignoring our
the
other
gameplay's
two
not too
systems of
bad
Stamp
right
and
now.
Pyro, and
I
we're
think
going
it's
back
okay
and
to
we're
be
sort of
honest, but
improving and
I mean, yeah,
expanding on the player's
it
life
could be
in
improved.
those two systems as well.
I like the way it feels, but I think it's more of like
Yes, and while things
Rea-
like Genesis,
hit reg
interstellar
and stuff like
hauling,
that's not
crafting, Siege of Orison,
super
and
great.
more will reveal next year will continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major
dear.
content release of 2026.
Secret conversations that upset
and what it
people.
means for progression-based gameplay. As an
What was that?
evolution of our building interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works. So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see in I-18.
Oh, back I see, okay.
It's the pure basis of Levski.
Oh,
You will
I
have,
see
of
when
course,
Chinese investors
metal
about
and tunnels
console
and,
release,
more
I see.
structural place, but you will also see a
Yeah,
lot
maybe.
of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to.
I think a console
fix
release
stuff.
isn't
Not everybody has what it takes
too
to
far
come
out
down
the
there
question
and
now,
do the
or
job
you know,
that needs to
in
be
a
done.
few years.
All of
You know,
your sewage
obviously,
systems have stopped working.
when the game first started being
Everything's
developed, and then
quite literally.
PS4 generation, for
And
example,
so
yeah,
the player is
100%, it
tasked with
was
their group most
no
likely
way, no
to go
way.
into there, take out the outlaws, and get the facility working again.
But now, maybe.
So let me get this straight. This is literally a mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. You're also trying to turn on the air. Air is a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but you know they have like maybe polluted air because it's not being cleared properly. It's not just for the toilet.
Boot mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into like some vents. It's like a free
Maybe,
layered system.
but once
where
they
there's
maybe
free
once they've
chapters.
actually got the game to 1.0
be
and they know what the
mission-driven
game is,
and
you know, it's like a
repeatable.
final
Everything from mining
base
to
release.
salvage to combat
Maybe they
to
could.
investigation.
Maybe I'm
A
not saying
variety
it
of
will
roles.
happen, but there is a chance that
Narratively,
it
it's
could
a real
happen.
sandbox. Every progression you do will unlock a new area that will link back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or change the spaces or change the progression, but it'll be the instancing which will enable us to create tailored content to you and your group.
Although to
So
be
you're
fair, I
gonna
think
be
that
able
the
to
hardest issue
play
they'll
part
have
of it,
is
make your progress,
trying to sort the
and then
controls out
and
on
then the next
console,
time
to
you
be
come
honest.
online, you'll be able to pick up where you left off.
It's going to allow
Remapping everything,
players to
I think that would be
return back to it
that
at
would be
different
that'd be the
states
trickiest
depending
part.
on how much you've progressed and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
Where you're not going to have other people getting in your way. It's you, your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own progress and ability to jump through them in faster and faster times as well.
Pretty cool.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers
We only got
alike
15 minutes
to create
left, guys.
more crafted
What
experiences
do you think we
within
can
the
see in the
greater
last
sandbox
15
of the
minutes?
persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Don't you mean Bar Citizen? Bar Citizen, come on, man. That was easy.
Excited about
Bar
the year ahead.
Citizen.
So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that. We did find some social media stuff on Twitch, though, or not Twitter, X. What is it called now? Let's see what this says. Let's see. We've got Welcome Back Levski from, I'm not wearing my glasses. Oh, no. Oh, time to suit up. Let's go get him, says Ubu. I really should have worn my glasses. Cue the bagpipes. That's the other game, Charlie Oscar. Let's see. Nice to see you live, Jared. Mom? Let's see. First CitizenCon after playing for almost a decade in Austin. Oh, nice. Straight out of Klesher, back to the Hex. Photos from Leicestershire. How do you say it? Is that Leicestershire? Leicester?
Leicester.
Leicester? I've only been in the UK for 3.5 years. At San Jose Bar Citizen Watch Party. Oh, somebody created a lovely Vandal mask there. Sean Tracy, can we get that in game? Just that, exactly. Just scan that, put that in game. All right, so that's a few reactions we're seeing on social media right now. Before we get to our big finale, or the thing we're going to wrap up the show with today,
Nix used to be an old host.
I did want to talk a little bit about big CitizenCon versus digital CitizenCon versus what we're doing today, which is CitizenCon Direct. Every year, CitizenCon is a monumental task for any number of people, whether that's development, marketing, the support teams, the platform teams. Everybody comes together to make this thing happen and go off, hopefully without a hitch. And so far, we've been doing all right, other than some stuff in the room here. You know who you are. They had to know. But doing CitizenCon is not always the easiest thing for our developers. You might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies. They tend to like to sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins, and just make digital virtual worlds like this. And then I come in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh, yeah. So we thought, we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. The folks in the editorial department put together a brief montage
to the devs
of some of the more candid moments
going on
from
camera
the
and
filming
doing
of
stuff.
CitizenCon over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to
It's
spend
not
2
always
minutes to
easy.
take a look at that. Let's see what they put together.
How many CitizenCons have you performed in now?
Performed? Just the one. Nope, my first one.
One last year.
2.
A few.
8 or 9?
Maybe 9 or 10?
Never.
Man, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I watched the video on
Yes,
Genesis
I was,
last year.
completely
That was really
terrified. It was
cool.
good.
I was hoping we'd learn a little bit more about it this year. Well, not learn more, but just see how they were implementing it. I mean, I guess we did see that with Nick's one. I don't know. I don't really know what I expected. Maybe I expected a little bit more. More of like a long-term, not even long-term roadmap. I thought we'd hear more about.
Remember we were at that weird.
I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting.
In Echoes. Right. I like the live ones. Oh, I mean, I love these digital ones. These are the best.
Every time I've done it, it has been a digital one, and I'd like to do one on stage.
Is it because you have a restraining order against you, or?
Didn't know if I was going to be sick, if I was going to lose my stomach.
How hard is it to keep your eyes open on stage?
That's another problem with the lights. They're kind of, I'm realizing.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean,
as I speak.
it is better
Do I do that a lot?
to just talk about what is
I am
coming
a very shy individual,
in the
so
more
this is
immediate
me
future
just trying to get out of
and not
myself.
hype up stuff that's they might not follow through on. I completely understand that.
We can react.
I was just more so my point being like I thought maybe they would know more about
I can feel your
a solid release or 1.0 or something like that. But I guess not hearing about that means they're just not ready to talk about it yet, which is fair enough.
Do I
But
stand up? Do I sit down? Do I drink? Do I not? Do I talk?
so there's a small part of
This
me
will be
that
the
thought
best one yet.
maybe they would.
That's right. Because it's nice and short.
Is this all supposed to be usable content? Because I could be different.
Of all your nicknames, why is Moist Master your favorite?
I think you mean least favorite, and because it has the word moist in it. I mean, come on.
We'll give you a new nickname by the end of this.
Sounds good. Could do
All
with
right,
one.
Let's get started.
So for those of you watching at home or at the watch parties, you're like, why are we showing that? I put that in there because I'm eternally grateful for all of the CIG staff and developers who take the time to appear on these things, whether it's ISE, SCL, CitizenCon, walk on stage, be pre-recorded. It's not the easiest thing for everybody. And on behalf of the community, if I can speak for them in this regard, I want to say thank you for participating in these things each and every year that we have them.
Yeah, I think that's
Now,
big.
Let's wrap things up.
Big respect for that.
So let's see. How do I
Exactly, Orion. Yeah,
At this
Orion.
point, we've only got one major story left to tell. But before we do that, it wouldn't be. We wanted to do one more check-in on something we started last year. Last year, Rich Tyler took the stage and presented his roadmap to 1.0. And we didn't want to go an entire year without talking to the senior game director himself to get his update on that 1 year later. So we're going to throw it to him.
Here we go.
And
This is
we're going to go to our last
yeah.
segment,
I guess this is what I was
and when we
talking
come
about.
back, we'll
So
say our goodbyes. And if you're at a watch party, it's time to get. I was going to say that's not a word I can say on the camera. Let's just go. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me.
yeah, I just thought it'd be weird for them to not mention anything, considering they did bring it up last year. So even if the update is we have no update, you know.
Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyler took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0. Now, before we end this year's CitizenCon Direct, we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year, to do as we've done today and look at the year ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to 1.0?
Well, fortunately nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to
Okay,
dig deeper
well, that's
into
good.
that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been locations that we've put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenith Threat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story, as when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will?
I mean, yeah, my
alongside
story. I mean, the
Well, we're
journey
trying
you
to
guys have
create a
joined me
living,
for has
breathing
been
universe.
my story,
And that includes
and that's been
both
really cool.
the
I haven't
player
even done a
stories
lot,
that you
but
mentioned that they can
thousands,
go and enjoy
hundreds
and
of
create their own
thousands of you
memories together.
have watched
But it
my
also means that we want to have a universe
specific
that gives back.
personal
We
journey
want
in Star
areas
Citizen,
and
and
locations
that
to
is
feel like they're believable
great.
and
That-
real-life
that's
locations. And if you
It's
look
one of the
throughout
best things
this
about
year and
gaming.
the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now. We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation, which allows us to inject some of the meaning and the why to what you are doing as a player. And I think story is integral to Star Citizen as a connective tissue that ties all of these different complex systems together, because it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody knows, and you mentioned just now, that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operate and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well. I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year at the beginning of January was patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions.
Ship repairs are more expensive if you lose
around
weapons
a
or
feature
fire
may not
missiles.
been ready or
in case you're
right
not
to
paying.
go into
Okay.
there.
There were 3 months, 4 months, sometimes 5 months between
Exactly,
patches.
and
That's
I
good to
don't
know.
think that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for the players. I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but A Line of Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the Sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I want to dispel a myth right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background, from radar and scanning in FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering, and crafting, and all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm going to say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever, and I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that. The player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of the play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year. But CitizenCon isn't CitizenCon without talking about the future, so I want to move us to the future. We've talked about story, we've talked about this more diegetic, immersive universe and adding voice lines and stuff like this. But where do we go from here? Obviously that continues, but what more are we going to do to make this universe seem alive and real and breathing?
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way. So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you. Right. You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions. You get to go and do their mission. And you
400 eyes nice, so it was like 11 mil. Yeah, I don't have 11.
It's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part would be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to be working towards very soon, with Battaglia being the first one coming back in the verse. And just to be clear, we will be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life, and as we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of. And obviously the full end goal is towards, you know, to have cinematic stories in the game, and that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions have been made at the time they've been made, but rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
I'm remembering when mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially. It will be one.
No, I have a
mechanism that
couple
will
of
allow
snub
us
ships,
to
but
have
yeah,
players
I'm not
to
using them
their
for
own
exploration.
individual area of the verse, have that conversation, and then go and continue on into the open world environment. So I think that's
I had
when we look
I
at
had the free fly event
instancing
last year. I had
provides us
the
one tool
got the
that allows us
constellation
to remove
for like a
that
day or a
bottleneck,
weekend,
and
and I managed to
provide
put
more seamless
my
experience.
Merlin
said that, because
into
that's one of our
so
last
I could
topics
do
I
the
wanna get
traveling
to,
in the
is how we
constellation,
reconcile
but then drop
instancing
the Merlin
with
down,
the
go from there.
persistent
So that was cool.
universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together. And it would be easy to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizens. But you mentioned last year these 3 pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those 3 pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the 3 pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the 3rd pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing? Are we doing open world now? Is open world the new North Star that's going to take us this way? And it's not. It's just one more tool that's going to allow us to offer different and dynamic experiences for players.
Yeah, I think
to
instancing is a
now, when
good
I talk
idea
about
for a game as big as this.
Instancing isn't always what you'd imagine as a solo instance experience where it's only just you. We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. We'll be able for you to go in by yourself, for us to teach you the ropes in a safe environment so that you can understand how to play the complex game that we've made. But we'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs for you to talk to, and you would just walk in and it would
The
be
Zeus
seamless.
looks cool.
You wouldn't
That
know
is on my
there was
radar.
an
It's
instance,
something
you're not
to
going to get a
get as
loading
well.
screen. You would just seamlessly walk into that location. It would be full of other players and NPCs, and you can go and enjoy the content. And that's, I think, something that instancing is going to provide us. It's going to give us a tool to offer different dynamic content, or curated content, as I'd say. It allows us to create experiences that are different to the open world experiences that we've already made. And it's not to say that we won't continue our open world development or only do instance content. It's going to be a mix. And like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0, and all 3 of those pillars will interweave to create the full Star Citizen experience.
All right, so we've hit a lot of the bigger topics, the feature work, engineering, and FPS crafting coming to tech preview soon, stuff like this. We've talked about instancing and how that's going to work within the universe. But I want to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who spend our days making it know better. It's an everything game. It's everything we can make it game. It just is. But at the core of this is still spaceships. That life of spaceships. What more can you tell us about spaceship gameplay in the future? What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to for those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships?
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions.
Number one hate
And
ship,
we want
Misk
to make
Endeavour.
sure that
Yeah, why
each
would
and
you
every
say
one
that?
of the ships
What
has
about
a
it?
purpose,
People
has
not
a
like.
reason to exist in the game. That's from the smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles, all the way up to the large capital ships. We want to give them purpose. And I think it's something that we are absolutely aware of. We want to make sure that we're building that spectrum of content to allow players to go and engage in. And I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for Star Citizen. And I think there's going to be something that's very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for. But rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
He had a twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
Come on then. We'll see what they're going to say. A space for space. Are we going to get... Is this an update on...
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems. We've added hundreds of locations. We've added lots of mission activities for different purposes. Combat, cargo, mining, salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process, and it's going to come online about mid next year. But we're really excited about the content we're creating. So we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
TSG.
The People's Alliance are still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really doing in the Nyx system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run it into more than they can take care of themselves.
Unfortunately, that team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
Okay.
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this space where you will find three big arms. You will see in the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is what you want your light or your medium or your heavy fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
It's more like
so while one part of your group is dealing with
larger
fighters,
missions with different
now it's
stages.
time to actually assault the station.
Using the ships, I guess, is what this means.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets. These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Oh my god. Ooh.
Your Polaris and your Idris, if you get it close, it will get shredded. The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because they have the biggest ship.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good way of balancing that.
You have to send out your best pilots to navigate the superstructure.
That'll be me.
Take down.
Get me in a single seater. Get me out there.
Bigger ships. So at this point, you're thinking destroy the turrets.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. I feel like that's a good way of balancing it.
You have
I mean, you have to balance that,
to
right?
their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your
Otherwise, it
first
just
objective,
completely nullifies the
power
point of
relays.
the smaller ships.
So the exterior has a number of power relays that are holding the doors closed.
So what they're
they
saying
can't
is
get
this
in.
is the Death
You have to
Star.
find them,
You got to
you
do a
have to
trench
target
run
them,
in the
and
next
you
wing.
have to
That's what they're
destroy them.
saying,
But
basically, right?
It may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator.
This is
or even
cool.
another
I really
fighter
like the
with
idea of
ballistics
this.
loadout. That's going to take you a while.
It's pretty well put together presentation, to be honest.
Once the power relays have been taken down, the station opens up.
And this is where things get really cool.
For something that sounded very early on in
Inside
development.
the station.
Yeah, you in your ship fly into the superstructure of this station.
How cool is that?
I feel like this is a proud dad moment. Thank you, Jared.
We're just going to call it what it is. It's a trench run.
There you go. I've already said. I called it. Called it, right? Go on. Yeah, I want to do this. This looks so cool. I'm definitely.
So as you enter the structure,
exciting.
you'll see cooling units along the sides that you'll need to take out.
Oof, that's tight.
There's
That,
3 arms
oh
to
my
the
god.
station that have these trenches. You'll
Oh
fly
my
into
goodness.
one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll move out another trench.
You're either gonna do it multiple times, or you need to bring friends.
At this point, the core is still protected, so these are essentially strafing runs.
There are objects to avoid. You're going to have to be able to dodge. You're going to have to move quickly. You need an agile ship.
Maybe we pick up a Mustang for that.
Because the shield generator that you're targeting is emitting lots of distortion damage.
So once the cooling units are out, that exposes the core to overheat, which means that you can attack it from the inside and also from exhaust ports on the outside of the station.
This is
core
sick.
Armored and just takes a whole lot of damage.
Like, coordinating that with a load of people. One group. That's going to be cool.
Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the capital
Ships
ships
of
can get
individual Gladius and Hornet.
Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo.
Hornet. Maybe it's the
munitions, and
Hornet.
ballistics,
Maybe I'll get a
and you're
Hornet
gonna wanna
then.
top up.
This is where we're gonna get our new feature in: ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're gonna be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for
sick.
ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other
Oh
ships
my God.
that are designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those 2 ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has an Idris there that can provide a safe port in a storm, allow you to set back up and head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too, because now another group of ships is coming to attack the People's Alliance Idris.
Oh my god, this keeps going. Yeah, this is very fun.
So while the fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station? Well, that's where the dropships come in.
Now you've got to take a fire team in. You've got to land, you've got to fight through an onslaught of FPS enemies that belong to this unknown faction, and you've got to
Oh my
open
God,
a
this
hangar
is-
door which will allow you to release captives from the station.
Yeah, this is awesome.
After you've opened the doors and that person's taken off, you've just got to make sure they get to safety.
So at this point, all of this sounds pretty simple, but there's an additional complication.
So up until this point, it's just been you versus the enemies in the station. But the enemies in the station have their own enemies.
The Vanduul neighbors who really don't like these guys for some reason will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you and the station. They're out for blood.
Oh my god.
When you alert the Vanduul by destroying the power core,
This is
the
crazy.
station's now vulnerable. You're on a time limit. Vanduul are coming. They're going to come hard. They're going to keep coming.
This is like a whole campaign finale mission. Forget Squadron 40. Don't forget Squadron 42. They have to put that out. But do you know what I mean? Like, forget Squadron 42. This is a whole game in itself right here. Oh, that looks awesome. Is that it?
Tactical strike groups.
Mm.
I'm personally so invested in this. So throughout 2025, we created a variety of content. Some of it was very focused on FPS combat. So personally, driving a more vehicle-based experience was very important to me.
Yeah, Star
This is
Citizen,
a
it seems
defining
even
statement
this,
that I
like
want
playing
to
now
do in
compared to a year ago when I
2026.
played, it seems,
We're a spaceship game. There are prized
sorry, I hit the
possessions
microphone. It seems
to
leaps
the
and bounds
objects we fall
more
in love
stable
with.
than it
This
was.
is the content we want to create, which creates scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships. We won't get to all roles initially, but we should see this as a landmark, a position where we can see a gameplay space which incentivizes the use of different ships and scenarios to clear objectives and complete missions in a variety of roles. And in the future, we can use this to expand on. So I hope you're all just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're
Yeah,
going to be fantastic.
that was awesome. I can't imagine how that's going to play out. Like, the spectacle of that actually happening with people is... Oof.
Okay.
People are very happy about that.
Why do you still have the puppet? John, come home. All right, so tactical strike groups. You know, it's been a long road for the last 10 years that PU's been around. We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships, and as Rich said, we're currently building out even more for those, and our first refueling missions coming online in 2026. But combat missions. Oh, hi, Aaron Roberts. Aaron Roberts. But finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship operations, in any other MMO they'd call dungeons. It's really exciting for me. And
Operations,
that's why we're
yeah,
ending the
that's a
show
good
this year,
word
with that.
to describe it, I think.
So yeah, that's been CitizenCon Direct. Thank you
Nice.
for taking the time
All right.
to share this with us.
Cool.
Again, this is just a glimpse at some of
I
what's
mean, Nick's
coming
in a month is
2026.
pretty
I've
exciting.
seen the Twitch chat and the YouTube
Pretty
chat like,
exciting.
oh, you're spoiling everything. I promise, we ain't.
We'll be getting into that
So,
for sure.
before we let you go, that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as with every CitizenCon, the last word shouldn't be mine. It should belong to our founders and CEO. So take it away, Chris Roberts.
I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features from
Okay.
Squadron 42 into the persistent universe, will make next year the most exciting yet for Star Citizen.
I think next year's going to be
Finally, I want
massive.
to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone at CIG for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you for making all this possible with your support and feedback. We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed the time and the money to build a game of all of our dreams, something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we would be allowed to dream as big as we are on an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we were part or funded by any of the few remaining mega game companies. So
Hmm.
thank you. And I look forward
Fair enough.
to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
All right, cool. There you go, everyone. That was CitizenCon 2025. Thank you, everyone who's joined in. I hope you've enjoyed watching. There you go. CitizenCon Direct. Just leave that up. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. There will be more Star Citizen content on the way this week, following week, week after that. My journey has been continuing, been continuing, and my editing has been, been really enjoying editing all of these videos for you. So I can't wait for you to see them as they come out. With that, I'll leave you all. Funny Sword, in particular, thank you so much for chatting away with me this evening. Thanks for your insights and input. It's been great to have someone giving me all the insider information, should I say, giving me the updates and stuff that I wasn't so clued up on. It's been really good to get that, and yeah, just really appreciate all of you. So thanks again, and with that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.